I mean, do you have any kind of psychic connections to guesstimate what the other nations' triggers will be?
I think I have an idea for Stoacia's. The other ones I have no clue, especially with Brantgate, because that one's just a weird anomaly because we don't know if we're getting lockback or not.
Or shield break.
Because it might be shield break just for the fact that, Dimension Police is in there and Die Kaiser did shield break. So I can understand
and we didn't get any of it in V, so it's due first.
It is due, but at the same time, do you really need shield break when you're already hitting 100 million?
Yeah, correct. Shield break was, I think that would be too good. Shield, because now it's like you can't guard this attack with knowing I might have the trigger in deck.
But I do think that Stoacia's is going to be similar to Dragon Empires, but instead of standing a Vanguard, it stands a rear guard.
Probably it's like it'll stand more than one, like 2 rear guards restand.
Yeah, or stand your board.
I think that'd be too good.
Or not your board, but stand all your rear guards.
That's standing your board, buddy.
Sorry, stand all your rear guards. Not your Vanguard, but stand your rear guards. But it fits flavor because
it does fit flavor, but because I guess that's a good way to reward players who overextend their hand.
Yeah.
To put pressure on the board to make the nation work.
But man, I tell you what, that's gonna be the really feel bads whenever you just swing with Vanguard first and you rip that and you're like,
after you've Persona ride too. It's like, all right, I get these 3 extra attackers, and like so attack. Yeah, you have to. It's weird. You can't save units for
because Stoacia's main grade 3. It has to attack. Correct. And then at the end of the battle, you get the ability to give things attack,
which is difficult to. Because now you don't know how to attack, which is what was the problem with G era with stand triggers, is not knowing when to attack with the rear guards. Like, do I attack with both first, hope I hit stand triggers, or do I attack with one Vanguard and like move left and right?
You see, with Dragon Empires, like there's no downside. It's like, okay, if I attack with the Vanguard and hit the over trigger, it doesn't matter because I'm always I'm just going to stand the Vanguard anyways.
You already get the buff too if you've Persona ride to your front row.
Yeah.
Plus, his counterblast ability is really good. So, like, there's no reason not to attack first with the Vanguard. You get the best of all worlds. Plus, then you're like, all right, his defense triggers are really good, so I'm just going to knock out his rear guards. So you get a good advantage to that.
Ooh, I will say this: I could see the over trigger making tokens.
Ooh,
because there is confirmed. I think me and Phil talked about this. I think you're confirmed that there was a token in the set, the booster set.
Oh, really?
So it makes sense because the over trigger for Stoacia is only going to be coming in the actual booster. So what if Stoacia is like, hey, here, make plant tokens?
That would be interesting. It'd be a good way for Neonectars to like make a reappearance into the game.
I mean,
because in the art it's just Neopets with flowers all over them.
I mean, we saw that Dragon Overlord could make an appearance in a trigger. Why not make other things?
Exactly. The tokens would make sense. Because I think the only other clan that made tokens was Murakumbo or Nubatama. But those were different. There was the little shadow clone jutsu or the substitution tokens, and those didn't really do too much. You used them for effects more than actually attacking, like Neonectar. But it would be in complete flavor with the nation to make tokens. I agree with that.
But then again, I forgot about that because technically the booster set's supporting 2 builds for every nation. So I guess there could be a build of Dark States or Dragon Empire or what was the other one, Keter, that makes tokens.
Yeah.
Because we already know basically that Stoacia is going to be the Grand Bluey kind of set, and then we know that Brantgate's going to be kind of Link Joker-y, Star Vader looking units. I doubt any of those is going to make tokens.
To speculate more, what do you think Dark States trigger might do?
Ooh, Dark Stage trigger. That is a good one. I honestly, it could just be like a dust, just drop their power down to 0.
That'd be cool. Or
I'm gonna hit 100 million, and I'm gonna go, and then I'm gonna put Salt on the Moon, and I'm gonna drop your Vanguard to 0, and it's gonna lose all of its effects until the end of your turn.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crushing. Do you think it could even do a similar kind of like Gasteel did right at the end of V, where it's like, hey, put a card into damage?
I mean, I could see definitely one of the over triggers just saying, I'm going to deal a damage to your Vanguard. But I don't know what nation that would be in.
That's more, I could see maybe Keter because, well, no.
I feel like that's a Dragon Empire.
That's definitely a Dragon Empire because Kagura definitely used to do that back in G, especially. They'd have a fight like, hey, take you, or even Narukami had it, or Narukami had it. It's like, hey, are you at 4 damage? Take another. Or are you not at 5? Take a damage. We're going to get you really close to death, and this is how we're going to fast forward just the extra damage. But like maybe Keters could do an Angel Feather like effect where you can like swap a trigger, or like swap a like you heal, like you take a damage and heal a damage at the same time. That
Oh.
way you could trigger effects again.
Oh my god, I can see it now. I'm calling it now. Keter Sanctuary is just going to heal. I don't know how much it's going to heal, but I'm telling you now it's going to heal damage.
Well, I bet just at least one. One's still strong. It probably heal and then you take a damage too, or
No,
you
no.
heal to take a damage. That way you cause another trigger. It's like drive checking 3.
No. Just like straight up pill of damage. What's more of a insult to the wound than, you hitting 100 million damage, but then you also see your opponent heal off damage straight away for no reason?
Exactly.
Or 2. What if it heals 2?
Oh yeah, because that would make sense then. That way, if you took it for damage, it doesn't go to damage, and then you activate its effect to.
Oh, no. Because
oh,
the
that's
effects
right.
only work when you drive check them, sadly.
You're right. So that way, it heals both ways then.
Yeah.
That would make sense for it to just you heal 1 damage, and it doesn't matter if you're behind or you're behind your opponent's damage. You just you heal regardless. Kind of like Angel Feathers, like in
Exactly.
G, where you'd be like, I'm just going to heal straight up.
Yeah.
No consequences.
No consequences, just I'm going to heal.
Life is not full of any danger whatsoever. Here's my grade 3s, by the way. Beep beep.
Beep, beep. Let's see. You got that. Dark States, probably, I'm going to say Dark States is going to be opposite. It's going to deal damage.
Deal damage to the opponent. Yeah, like kind of. Dark States, it's either deal damage or put them to 1.
Yeah.
But
something
like,
that.
but like you said, with 100 million, who cares what their Vanguard's power gets to? But it does make other rear guards attacking easier, like a lot easier.
Yeah.
It could like drop the front row to 1. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
That
I
way,
can see
it's
that.
like you could just attack any of them. That I think that would it's either take a damage. I think taking a damage on a trigger, it's a forced crit, which is like you can't guard that, which I think would be unfair.
I mean,
So I
it's-
think dropping them all the front row to 1, you just, I mean, it makes sense though with the final rush mechanic.
yeah.
You just get to restand. It's like, hey, you're at 1, and I got 2 more attacks coming, and they're strong.
And then, by the way, if you didn't PG, okay, well, something here is 100 million.
So exactly, here's 100 million. Something's getting through. I hope you had 2 more PGs because you're at 1. You're gonna need a lot of shield, buddy.
Exactly.
Or I hope you drew your trigger, your special trigger, because you're gonna need that in hand to guard that.
Oh my god, it'd be even worse too, because say you attacked with your rear guards, right, and they try to defensive trigger themselves out, and then you rip the over trigger and just nulled out their defensive trigger.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be.
Yeah, that I could definitely see that as like the dark state. It's kind of
So with Brant Gate, so Brant has because
It has robots
They had
and-
robots that restand.
and it has Link Joker.
It has Lean Choker, so it's either going to be locking or restanding, but more likely not shield break because if they were going to bring back shield break, they would have done it already. I feel.
Like I said, shield break's weird because unless you're nulling out a PG, the only way I can really see that coming around is like saying null out a PG because you're 100 million. What's the point of putting on there's no shield in the game that can guard that.
It's like, and yes, you have to keep in mind it's 1 out of 45 in your deck after you have your ride deck out and all
Yeah.
that. So it's like less than 45 cards in the deck. And one of them is that special unit. You could start with it. A lot of things could happen, but it's just so it's hard to pretend that like, oh, you're going to see it all the time. But like it's just the what ifs.
Yeah.
I still don't think it would be fair to put it at it gives a damage because same thing with the dark state. I don't think they could have one that says, hey, take a damage because again, what's the point of PGing? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be 100 million, and it's a possibility. But PGs like they're because I think that's kind of a weird thing for Vanguard. They have to do because they've done it for the most part consistently. If I can remember that, there's always an out to something for the most part. Like especially when it comes to guarding, you can either PG if something says, oh, you have guard restrict. It's like, well, I got all these grade 0s on guard with. Like, oh, you got guard restrict on those. It's like, well, then I have PGs. Like it's one or the other, and that's where V kind of really messed up just a little bit because they had draw triggers that were sentinels, and so when a Tom comes out, it's like,
oh well.
oh well, I hope you have something else in hand. And but when you had grade 1s with 10k shields, and it's like, all right, I got a backup plan. Tom's not too big. I can get around this just a little bit. I mean, early on in V, I know he was a big issue, but him and the reindeer. So, but V fixed itself very quickly. It just consistently, it had its power creep, but it wasn't super busted. I remember when Kagero finally got its X in the end, and people were just like, "It's the end times. There's no more fun Vanguard whatsoever." And then it's like, not even a month later, it's like, the who?
The who is that?
The end? What? I don't know what those cards are.
Oh,
They're,
you mean the cross? What?
you mean you mean the glass cannon? Because that is like kind of very. But I mean, obviously regional and tournament standings would say different. But this is from my regionals perspective, or my local area perspective, and just what we did through playtesting multiple times of just like it whiffs hard.
I mean that's the power creep though.
Exactly.
Like everybody got crit sentinels. It's like, okay, cool. Well, now we don't feel like so.
Yeah,
underpowered.
crit sentinels are great. But I think they were the greatest thing ever because it's like this beautiful combination of G guards and sentinels. Like it's restrictive, kind of like G guards. You could only have 4 because you only have 4 heal triggers. But they didn't cost you any effects, and it was just the 1 card from hand. I think that was just it's simple. It's also like I played DI, and so you're playing a protect clan, so you're getting perfect guards anyway. So it's like I have extra sentinels. We're running 4 of the crit sentinel because I don't want to draw my deck out for 1 with the draw PG, and for 2 it's just it's 1 card from hand, and I have my grade 3 drawing me all the cards through multi attack. It's crazy. It's